Hi, everyone. My name is Mr. David. I'm here from Chabot College along with one of our business instructors. Dmitry, you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, sure, Alan. Hello, students. My name is Dmitriy Kalyagin. I am a full-time business and accounting instructor, and I'm also a department coordinator for the business department.
Yeah, so we'll be talking a little bit more about the business pathway in a second. But yes, welcome to Chabot. We're going to be sharing some information with you today to help you transition from being a high school senior to a Chabot student, and if you're interested to continue on with this business pathway. So we're going to cover the business pathway. We did our introductions already, and here is what we're going to have on the agenda. We're going to talk about the SOAR program. I'll tell you more about that in a second. Some special programs at Chabot that you could potentially join to support you during your first years at Chabot. We're going to go over the business pathway with Dmitry, and then any questions you could email us if you have any. We also have one of our teachers here from one of the campuses, high schools, who may have questions as well. But if you have any questions, you could email me and we'll get the answers back to you. Here's the SOAR checklist. You're all going to be emailed a copy of this. You might have been at presentations that happened at your high school, but we want all students to try to apply for what we call the SOAR program at Chabot. It stands for the Student Orientation and Registration Program. And basically, we want you to complete all these steps that are right in front of you, so you could get the earliest registration date possible. And also, I'll also go over like why you want to go through these steps as we go through the steps. But yeah, the first step we need you to do is apply for Chabot. So when you get this handout, this flyer in your email, each of these blue underlined sentences or sections, you could click it. It's a hyperlink and it'll bring you to our Chabot website for those areas. And there's also these tips under, okay? I have another tool that will help you with these steps if you need to go log on and get support from our Chabot staff. But we're just gonna go over this checklist for now. So the first step is to apply for Chabot. So you go to this, it'll lead you to the Chabot website and you're gonna apply for Chabot. You might have applied for Chabot before because you're in a business class that's articulated, which means you're getting Chabot credit already. So instead of applying, you're gonna sign in to your account, okay? But under the application, you wanna make sure that you say that you received a high school diploma already. Another thing is you wanna make sure you apply for fall or summer, because spring is still gonna be showing up. We need you to put fall or summer. And then under the supplemental questions, when you get to that area, it's going to ask, are you currently a high school senior planning to participate in the 2021 SOAR program? You're going to say yes and select your high school, okay? The second step is you're going to get your Chabot ID number. It comes about 2 days later, maybe 3 days, depending on what time you apply. So make sure you keep that W number. You're going to keep it forever. That's your student ID number. And then we want you to test going on in our online system class web. So you log in with your W number and then your birth date, your PIN is your birth date, at least for the first time. So make sure to do it in 6 digits and then it'll ask you to change your password or your PIN, I mean, and it has to be 6 numbers, okay? We also want you to check your zone mail. It's our Chabot email. Here are some instructions again right here on how to help you log on to zone mail. It's important to use your zone mail because that's where you get information about your financial aid, important messages from your instructors, or even admissions and records. And it's to make sure that the account is your account and no one else's. So that's why we have that zone mail set up for you. Step number 4 is we want to make sure that you have done financial aid, either the FAFSA or GMAP. we're past the priority deadline, but still do it because we need to make sure that you have a financial aid application on file so you could hopefully not have to pay for school your first year, or hopefully maybe even your second year. We have what they call the California Promise Grant and also the Chabot Promise Grant. So if you have a financial aid application, either a FAFSA or a GMAP on file, they'll automatically apply you for those. And our goal is so that you don't have to pay for at least your first year at Chabot. And like I said, hopefully your second year. Number 5, you could kind of skip that for now because this is the session that you would have went to. So don't worry about that. You could just skip number 5. Number 6 is an online orientation. You want to do that by May 14th. You just click on this, it'll get you to our online orientation on our website. And it's pretty simple. You watch these videos and there's a little quiz after each section. And you could just do a little bit each day. You don't have to do it all in one sitting. You could do 10 minutes today, 10 minutes tomorrow, but you want to make sure you get it all done by May 14th, okay? Number 7 is completing the learning communities and special programs interest form. So you would click on this right here, and you're gonna be given a questionnaire. You're gonna see different programs and you're gonna answer yes or no, and see if any of the programs are of interest to you. One of the programs I wanna highlight is our first year experience program, because we have a business pathway under FYE, and we'll make sure that you're taking the classes you need under business to make sure you complete your certificate or degree, okay? That's one of the options. You don't have to be in that program. There's other programs here. But like I said, if you want to continue with business, that would be a good option for you. Step number 8 is to do your math and English self-placement. So you will need your W number and you go into class web. And basically all you're gonna do is answer a couple questions around what English and math classes you've taken in high school, what your GPA was, and there'll be a recommended list of classes that you could take for English or math. And again, you do this by May 14th. Under the summer, we have some summer bridge options. So take a look at those, especially if you want to have support or you want to get help transitioning to college. This summer bridge program is great. We have different options depending on what kind of commitment levels you have. So if you only have a little bit of time, we have something for that. If you need help with math or science, we have something for that. And then we also have a college readiness class that's all set up. You could sign up for all 3 or just choose what you want. So click on this and you'll see your options. And then if you completed all these steps, step 10, we're gonna have what they call the first semester planning session, right? The first semester planning session is when you meet with a Chabot counselor and we plan out what your first semester's classes are going to be. It's different from high school because in high school they set up all your classes, and if you didn't like one, you'll talk to your counselor, but for the most part it's set up for you. But at Chabot and in college, you have to actually pick your classes. So based on your math and English placement from step 8, and also if you wanted to join a program in step 7, the counselor is going to help you come up with what classes you're going to be taking your first semester. So we have classes set up with the different high schools, and most likely if you're getting this recording, you're one of the high schools, and I'm going to show you how you could access your schedule after this. But we go to those reserved times. That's how you guarantee a time. If you miss those times, we also have one set up at Chabot. You could sign up here on this link. Step 11, if you are missing any forms, like if we need more information about your financial aid, there's a couple documents you could fill out. It won't be before you register for classes, but you have by July 1st to figure out if we need more information to get you financial aid. And we have folks to help with that as well. So if you complete all the steps 1 through 10, our goal is for you to register for classes by May 21st. This is earlier than most students. So you have about 4 to 5 days before everyone else, okay? So if you completed all those steps, you'll have access to coming in on May 21st. It's a Friday. If you need help, you could jump on a Zoom with us and we'll have a bunch of staff ready to help you put in the classes that you planned with the counselors. In step 10, you pick the times that your classes will be at. So that's the big difference between high school and college. You choose the times. Unless you're in a program, we have a couple classes that are set up by time, but for the most part, you have some flexibility on what times your other classes will be. So that'll be your step 10. So that's the SOAR checklist. I wanted to go over that because it's right around the corner and we want you to, take advantage of this early registration. I wanted to show you this tool. We're gonna also email it to you. So if you need help with any of the steps, Dmitry, do you see my step into Chabot here?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Yeah, so if you need any help on those steps and it's listed here, you could just click on the step and then we have, like, if you wanted help with applications, you could go to our drop-ins here, and we also have time set up with your school on the left side here. So for example, let's say we're doing Hayward High, you could click on this and you could look for Hayward High. And then, well, we have sometimes there, let's say you go to Mount Eden, you could go to this link because Hayward High didn't list theirs yet, but we do have times with Hayward High, just check in with your counselor there. But going back to this onboarding tool that we have, I'm gonna email this also to you all. And again, if you need any steps on the application, financial aid, online orientation, the math, or an English placement, or even finding a learning community that fits you, it's all on this tool. And you'll also have my contact at the bottom of the page. If you ever have any questions, you could contact me or the other outreach person, Javier, and we're here to help you. Yeah, and that's it for this section. Please take a look at the tool if you're confused about all of this. Also, just start at that SOAR checklist. It's on this page too, so if you don't see it in your email, it's right here. You could download it. It should show up right here. You could download the SOAR checklist here, so you have a copy. Use that first, and if you need help, just find the section you need here on the steps that we think you may need support at, and come to our open support sessions. Okay? Well, email us questions if you have it, and we're gonna transition to the business pathway, back to the business pathway presentation. So, okay, I'll give it back to you. Yeah.
Thank you, Alan. A lot of great information there. So I want to mention that I've been at Chabot for over 20 years, and it's really, without exaggeration, it's a jewel among educational institutions in the East Bay area. I don't know if you're aware, but recently the Forbes magazine ranked our community college as the 3rd best community college in California, and there are more than 100. And it's actually the 19th best community college in the nation. And our business program is listed as one of the best programs, what we are known for, and that's why we are number 19 in the nation and number 3 in the state of California. So I'm going to talk about the business pathway, and on my agenda, I will talk a little bit about the value of business education, and then I will describe the transfer opportunities in our business transfer degree, and then our non-transfer degrees and certificates. And then I will be open for any questions. By the way, a lot of this information you will find on our website. So here is our website. It's just if you go to www.chabotcollege.edu/BUS for business, BUS, that will take you to this page. And here you have an email address which you can ask any questions related to our programs or classes. It's right here. You can see faculty that are teaching in our programs. We're placing YouTube videos. For right now, we have only 3 of them, where we specifically talk to you about what classes are required to complete in order to earn a 2-year degree, transfer, AST, it's called Associate's Science Transfer degree, our accounting degrees, and our administrative assistant degrees. We have many more, so we will be adding links right there. And also right here on the menu, you can review our programs and courses. But going back to my presentation, so looking at these 2 resumes, on the left, you have somebody with high school diploma, but also a certificate in business and the AST in business. And then on the right, we have somebody with just a high school diploma. And of course, the person to the left looks like a person with much more education and might be hired much faster. And we always suggest that you place your education, not just what you completed, even if you're currently working on your degree or certificate, but you have a plan, the future date when you're going to earn it, place it on your resume. So I'm planning to get my certificate in degree in May 2022, I'm already placing it on my resume. So if you're looking for a job in the meantime, it's communicating to your potential employer that you have clearly set goals and you're working to achieve them. A little bit about earning power. So a value of an education, you can see that the person with the high school diploma begins their starting salary on average at $37,915. With a college degree, it's over $50,000. And over a career, a person with a bachelor's degree will have earned about $1 million more than the person with just a high school diploma. If you have a 2-year degree, if you don't have a bachelor's degree, then your premium over the lifetime is $360,000. And the education we offer at Chabot is quite affordable. So these are median salaries for people without high school, with an associate degree, with the bachelor's degree, and with the advanced degree. And again, we have information, it depends on the program, but often, to complete the certificate, you will have to invest for your books and for your college tuition, just about, $1,000 to $2,000 for shorter certificates. And that creates the difference right here in $7,000 in salary right away. So as I mentioned, we offer all of these different degrees. There are pretty much 2 pathways in business. One pathway is transferring to a 4-year school. And for 4-year schools, you have a choice of CSU, California State Universities. I think there's 23, 24 campuses, or UC, University of California, which there are 12 campuses, but only 3 of them offer a bachelor's degree in business, or a private university. Our pathway mostly focuses on transferring to a CSU campus, but it is definitely possible to go to UC or a private university. A different pathway is for students that do not necessarily plan to go to a 4-year school or do not plan to do it right away. Your goal is to get a job. And we offer AS degrees without the letter T. So they're not necessarily transfer. Some classes within those degrees will transfer, but many of them will not. Your goal is to get a certificate or a degree. Most of the time, students get a certificate first. And the difference is that certificates are usually around 10 to 25, 28 units. So they could be easily completed in 1 to 2 semesters, and they have only major courses. You are not required to take any English, any math, any general education classes. And what we do with the certificates, once you complete it, you graduate, you receive your diploma, you can have your graduation party, you can get a better job, and all of the courses within the certificate will roll into the degree. So the degree is using all of those classes, building upon them, plus you take a few more major courses, you complete your general education, and you also sometimes have to take some elective courses. So these are two different pathways, and I hope you decide which one you want. But when you start at Chabot, especially with our introductory courses, most of them could be used towards either one of those pathways, either towards pathway or towards, we call it the terminal pathway, meaning the one where you get a certificate and or AS degree, and your goal is to get a job, not go to a four-year school. So I will talk about the transfer pathway first. And again, I'm not going to spend so much time here on the details. You can talk to a counselor. Also, I have, like I mentioned on our website, a YouTube video where I tell you more specifically about classes required. This is a degree that pretty much guarantees your acceptance to the CSU. You can think of it as your first 2 years of the bachelor's degree. This degree is uniform among all community colleges in California. You complete first and second year, and then you transfer to a four-year school. You completed all your major requirements, or so-called lower division requirements, and your general education requirements. You receive a diploma, you graduate, you put it on your resume, you can get a better job, right? Because it might take you longer than 4 years to get your bachelor's degree. It took me 6.5 years, I remember. But then also, when you go to a four-year school, your third and fourth year, you specialize. So the first 2 years at Chabot is just called, I should not say just, it's called the AS Transfer Degree in Business Administration. You do not specialize in different areas. So if you want to have a four-year degree in accounting, in international business, in marketing, in logistics, in human resources, at Chabot, you get a 2-year degree in business administration. And then you specialize in finance or marketing or HR or healthcare administration at the university of your choice. Also, what I want to mention here is that it boosts your GPA. I think it increases once you complete this degree, your GPA goes up by 0.1. And it also consists of 27 to 30 units of the major courses. And they include 4 business classes. They're listed right here. In business, 12 is Introduction to Business, 2 accounting courses, a business law course, and then 2 econ courses, micro and macroeconomics, 1 statistics course, and 1 calculus course. So there's a heavy math requirement in our program. Plus, you complete about 29 units of general education. So you have to earn at least 60 units to be able to get any associate's degree, including this one. So if you're below 60 units, you can take any classes at Chabot. All right, so that's the transfer degree. And I always suggest talk to the counselors, especially if you're going to, about the requirements of the specific course. San Francisco State might have a little bit different requirement than San Jose State. For example, San Francisco State does require an Excel course, and it's not required by other CSU schools. If you want to go to a UC school, I mentioned it's only 3 of them that offer an undergraduate bachelor's degree. It's Berkeley, Riverside, and Irvine. Talk to a counselor. It's going to be a little bit a different transfer pattern. And the same idea with the private school. All right. Sometimes it does take a student more than 2 years to finish that 2-year degree, the AST degree. So you go to college, and you have no piece of paper to show, to prove that you've been going to college. So what we did, we separated these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 courses from the degree to form a certificate. It's called a certificate in business administration. It does not include any math. It does not include any general education. And I actually always say this should be your first step. You finish 5 classes, all of them are part of your 2-year degree and the transfer pattern, but you apply for the certificate and you get that diploma and you can put it on your resume and you can look for a better job. This certificate is only 18 units. So usually a full-time student takes 12 units per semester. So you can easily finish it in 2 semesters. And you can start from any course here, any entry point. The only class that requires, has a prerequisite is this Business 1B. You have to finish 1A with a C or higher before you're going into 1B. Otherwise, all the courses can be taken in any sequence. So it makes you much more marketable. So by the time you get your bachelor's degree, you will have had actually 3 graduations, you will have had 3 diplomas, this certificate first, then the AST degree, and then your bachelor's degree. All right, now this is the second path. This is the terminal path. So for students who do not necessarily want a 4-year degree, it's designed for the new workforce entrance or people who already working, they want professional growth, career change, or enhancement. So we offer AS degrees without the letter T. And these are, guys, majors that we offer. So we have the AS degree in accounting. Again, the goal here is not to transfer. The goal is here, you will become an accountant without going to a 4-year school. We have an AS in business. By the way, this AS in business is the most popular AS degree on campus, and AS in accounting is the second most popular. And under your degree in business, you have a choice of an area of emphasis. You can emphasize general business or marketing or management. And we also have the AS in entrepreneurship. All of these programs have a certificate connected to them, sometimes more than one. So again, the first step is usually to finish the certificate. And so the certificates, I love them. In my educational career, when I immigrated to the United States, that's what I did first. I completed a very short certificate in management at a community college, and I found a great job. And then the job paid for me to go through my bachelor's and MBA. So these are great programs, very short. They're designed to give you employable skills for entry-level positions or for career growth. As I mentioned, there are no general educational requirements. They could be, it says 12 there. We have a couple that have actually 10 units to, we don't have 30 anymore, to 25 units. And there are many of them. The classes within the certificate, all of the certificates could be completed fully online, even before shelter in place and hopefully after. But we also offer hybrid courses. We offer Zoom courses. We offer fully asynchronous courses. Asynchronous means you do not have any scheduled time. You're doing work based on the schedule without meeting face-to-face with your professor. We have morning classes, evening classes, and guys, as I mentioned, these classes that you take within the programs always will be used towards the 2-year degree if you decide to go for a 2-year degree. So there are a lot of them. I listed them here. As I said, I'm not going to go over each one of them. We constantly update them. We meet with the advisory board, with people from the industry that give us input. And these are different areas, as you can see, of certificates that we offer at Chabot. Now, you can find specific details through our website, what classes are required, or you can always email me or the counseling department. And as I mentioned, we offer all courses both online. All courses are offered online. Some courses are also offered with Zoom, and hopefully when we return to campus, will also be offered on campus. That concludes my presentation of the business pathways. My colleagues and I will be very excited to welcome you to campus. Besides this, we also have a very active DECA program, which is a business student club. And we also have an excellent, as you saw, entrepreneurship program. We have competitions, we have the entrepreneurial pitch, we have courses where you can write your own business plan. If you're interested in those, they're actually listed under entrepreneurship in the class schedule. So all other business courses are under business, accounting, marketing, management, but the entrepreneurship courses listed separately under entrepreneurship. Are there any questions for me?
Well, great job, Dmitry. Really good explanation of what Chabot offers. And I'm an alumni myself from 1976, before you were born, probably. But I'm trying to think of some of the questions that might be common. And Alan, you did a great job too. The whole thing is just really nice and clean and concise, and it's very easy to understand. And I know I have quite a few students that are planning on attending Chabot, and they've already enrolled. Um, I'm trying to think of some questions that they might want to hear the answers to when we play this back to them. You mentioned that the business administration program or business that's the most popular. And do you have a work experience program at Chabot?
We really don't anymore. It died out. It still stays in the catalog. We used to have it active and it just didn't work out. It has, I used to teach in it in 2000, and then Catherine used to teach it. We're not offering it anymore.
Okay. And how about a job in college? Well, job office. They used to have an office that provided a lot of different work experience opportunities.
Right. So that's the career and transfer center. So the transfer center is very active, the transfer part. The career part, we lost the career classified staff. We were hiring specifically a CT counselor when we went to shelter in place. I was on that hiring committee. And then there was a freeze put on the hiring. But I think right now the position is back as the top priority to hire a counselor specifically to manage the career center.
Okay, because I got a job while I was at the school, and then I got my first career job after I graduated from the center. So that was really a great program to offer. What would you say is the percentage of students that come in with articulated units already earned?
From high schools?
Yes.
I would say probably not more than 10-15%.
Okay.
What I do also want to say is that a lot of students, probably 75%, come in saying they want to get to a 4-year school. That's just because that's what they're told. But then a lot of them end up getting a certificate or a 2-year degree and getting a better job, and getting a certificate, then coming back, continuing later in life to transfer.
Okay.
I also know a lot of them ask, but that's probably later. So when a student is ready to graduate, right? And sometimes they are ready to graduate with multiple certificates because there's an overlap. They need to apply for each program separately, or sometimes they're ready to graduate with a certificate and a degree. So they have to apply for it separately. Chabot does not issue it automatically. So there is a form through counseling, through admissions and records, which they have to complete. And they actually can apply for graduation, not after they're completely done, but during the last semester in which they're taking courses required. And there is a deadline. So if they miss the deadline, they cannot graduate the same semester. So that seems to be an issue sometimes. Another issue for incoming students is it's a little misleading that business 1A, that's where they often begin because it's the first course. And that's actually a financial accounting course. So we always ask counselors to lead them first to business 12, which is introduction to business, much easier course, an overview of business. And we also always ask counselors to advise that business 7, if they have to take accounting and they have not had exposure to accounting in high school, to take business 7, which is like a bookkeeping class, accounting for small business first.
Yeah.
So
that's a challenge. So the business 12 would be class that students that are articulated, they're getting credit for that course, so they wouldn't
No,
take that.
no, they're not. And they're getting credit for business. It depends on the high school or ROP. They're getting the credit for sometimes business 26, which is a small business management. Now, the business 20, all of our courses are transferable as electives to CSU. So they're all considered baccalaureate level. So they're getting 3 units in small business management, sometimes in introduction to marketing. Sometimes we have business 50s courses. They're 1 unit classes like careers in business, how to write resume, how to deal with difficult employees. Business 12 we cannot give because it's articulated to Berkeley, actually required. So we cannot, if they articulated to us, then it means it would be transferable to UC Berkeley, and Berkeley didn't want to do that.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
And my recommendation for students who are in your classes, if they could also let the counselors know during that step where they meet with the counselors that they took a high school class where they got Chabot credit, to also let them know, if possible, even bring a copy of their unofficial transcript from the high school to just show it will, through our systems eventually show up, but if they're in the planning stages, so they know what classes to start with, to also let the counselors know that, hey, I took a high school class where I was getting Chabot credit and I want to continue with business, because they'll consider some of the classes that they've taken already in the planning stage.
Okay, that's good information, Alan. Thank you. Mm-hmm. We have early enrollment at Hayward, and I think all the students that don't have been accepted to a 4-year school, the counselors kind of parade them through the library and they get them signed in and get all their paperwork done and their FAFSA, and they're all set and ready to go. But it seems like a high percentage of those students end up dropping out the first year. Do you have any advice that we could give to them in that transition that would lower that amount of dropouts?
I would suggest students to possibly try to join a program at their campus, especially if you're the first in your family. There's different types of support programs, even outside of Chabot. And that's actually why we also want students to consider one of those special programs in the steps that I mentioned. So if you wanted to join a program like Puente, Moja, and we even have an API, Asian Pacific Islander program now called Movement API, you could still be a business major, but you'll have a counselor there that's also involved throughout this, your first year, almost every day, or not every day, but at least every week, your first semester, and possibly even the second semester, depending on your schedule. And students who also been in the program as staff, that'll be involved in the program, as well as other kind of support workshops and programs. And then I also wanted to plug in the business pathway for FYE, first year experience, because they get that support. And then that business 12 is usually the first class we have also set up with FYE. So that's a great way to be amongst other business students, because your classmates are going to be also in that business path. So you're already creating your network. So my suggestion for students, to not drop out is to get connected to a community, whether it's through our first year experience business program, or if you wanted to join another program. Those programs have shown through the research to really help students get from the first semester to the second semester, which is usually the hardest, and then from the first year to the second year. And that's why we're really pushing students to join a program early. Unlike myself, I didn't know about any of these when I was at Chabot back in the days. I didn't see a counselor. I got used to knowing how to dodge your counselor, like it's almost a punishment, right? So, but in this program, you're building a relationship with them. You're kind of exploring, like maybe a student was thinking accounting, but then they figured like, I might want to have my own business. That's something that they could explore with the counselor through their first year experience program, and as well as in the other programs. But if you want that business focus, kind of tangenting, but the idea is to join a program. And at Chabot, we have one that's geared around business if they wanted to be in that pathway. But if they were wanting to join any program, the other program, they also give that support even if they were in any major. So just something to consider. So if you didn't go to Chabot, if you're watching this and you end up going to another school, look for a program at that campus too, because they are there, but sometimes you have to seek it out. If you're, if you're not already connected to someone, you need to ask maybe a counselor on campus or other students if there's programs. There's usually an area on campus that houses all these programs, and ask questions there. But please plug into a program so it's not you by yourself. There's a community there with you to be successful. That would be my suggestion to your question, Rick.
Hey, Alan, if I could,
Yeah.
the FYE program is a program that ROP and Chabot have come together, and they've actually contracted with me to work with those classes to bring a lot of work-based learning activities, which also I think the students might find interesting because it includes guest speakers and field trips, and possibly internships, depends upon the program schedule and so forth. But through the FYE program, that's also included a lot of work-based learning activities that I think the students would also benefit from.
Yeah, thanks for that, Jane. And if any students have any other questions, you could always reply to the email that has this message, this video when you get it. And one of us will get back to you. You'll also have my email. And if I don't know the answer, I'll reach out to our business staff. If you didn't want to stay in the business path, we could find another thing for you. But we have all types of supports for you. Rick, you had another question? Sorry.
Well, I was going to ask both you or Dmitry, if they are in a business major, what would be the top state schools for them to transfer to?
They come up with this question often, and sometimes I think students are too concerned about the undergraduate degree, where they're going to go. I mean, Berkeley UC program, of course, is very competitive, but what happens often is that the focus is a little different. The marketability is much higher, but you do not get specialization. So if you're going into accounting or taxation, more technical programs, East Bay is probably the best program. If you calculate, the number of units, the number of classes that you take in that specific specialization, it's much higher than Berkeley. If it's marketing or international business, it's San Francisco State. If it's MIS, Managerial Information Systems, it's San Jose. So it depends on specialization.
Okay, that's good to know.